So let's talk about Virtual Classroom, which is basically an online meeting space right within Brightspace. Now, you should see this inside your nav bar. It might be in one of the hidden slots inside there, but it should be this icon that says Virtual Classroom. When you or a student clicks on this, you'll be brought to all of the different meetings that are shown inside your class. So this could either be an active meeting that has not yet taken place or a recorded meeting that's already been recorded. Now, we don't have any meetings inside here yet, so we're going to have to create one. First of all, I want to let you know that this is actually powered by a company called Bongo, and they're a partner with D2L and has been vetted by the Ministry for Privacy and Security. So you don't have to worry about anything in terms of this being safe and secure. We know that it is. And so there's a couple steps you'll want to take just to make sure that you protect yourself. But other than that, everything is great. First, we're going to try and create a meeting here. So we'll click on the plus icon in the bottom right corner. We'll give our meeting a title, which I'll call Sample Meeting 2. And we can give our meeting a date and a time, but I'm just going to select now. And we can select a max duration. We can only choose 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. However, 60 minutes should be enough because you'd probably want to chunk your virtual classroom recorded sessions if you're going to be with students for longer than that. So you may want to set up 2 sessions if you're going to be teaching for 2 hours. You can also make these repeated or not, as is default. And then you have these options here. So you can either automatically record the meeting, which I don't suggest doing, publish the recorded meeting, which I do suggest doing, invite the entire class. If you uncheck this, you'll be able to select individual students to invite. And I would always leave this unchecked. So allow external participants unchecked. This is the biggest thing you want to do to protect the privacy, because if you do check this off, then anyone can get into your virtual classroom session as long as they have the link. Right now, if I keep it unchecked, then only the students in the class list of this course can ever get in. So again, safe and secure. The only people in this virtual classroom could be your students. Select Save, and you'll notice that that now has been added to our active meetings. From here, we could select these 3 dots and then Launch. This is going to launch our meeting, but we're just going to go into the lobby right now. We then have to click Enter Meeting Room. And the nice thing about this is, again, from privacy issue, students can't get into this meeting room until you have launched this as a teacher. So you won't have students coming into the meeting early. I'm also going to show you how you can end the meeting and ensure that students are no longer in that meeting space unsupervised. So first, we're going to connect our microphone. So I'll select microphone, and you may have to click allow or yes a couple of times just to make sure that you are allowed to use your microphone. And now I'm in the virtual classroom. I've got a blank white canvas, some writing tools on the side, a recording button up here to start my recording, some sharing tools down here, and then the tools I can use to interact with my students over here. To start off here, I'll look at the participants. You can see that I'm the presenter, and all the participants that would be in this class would be in here. I can mute all. I can give extra permissions to them if they're in the class. There's a chat as well, which you can use to chat back and forth with students. There's also polling options. So if you ask a question that's just a yes/no question, you can select yes/no. Students will see a yes/no above their screen right here. And then when you're ready, you can either stop the polling or publish the results to the students. You can also access closed captioning inside of that button there. Okay, so I'm just going to close this off and look at the bottom now. So another thing I can do is share my webcam. So if I want to share my webcam, I've just got to wait for my webcam to load up. And one thing you can use if you're looking at this, maybe you have a poor internet connection, you can always change the quality of your webcam so that you're not using as much bandwidth. You'll see my webcam will show up above here, and you can still see it within the presentation below. I can also change the size of the presentation versus my webcam. I can hide the presentation if I'd like, and so you can see me, or I can bring that presentation all the way back up. And now I'm just going to stop sharing my webcam. I can also share my screen. So if I want to share my screen, I can select that, and I can either share my entire screen or a specific Chrome tab. And then students will see exactly whatever is on my screen. So once I click that, I'm going to wait for these little, the the arrows to go, and then I'm sharing my screen. Now they'll see everything that's on my screen, and yeah, that's sharing your screen. Okay, I can pause that screen share, or I can just stop it by clicking off on that. And so that's some of the sharing, but you're probably looking like, okay, I want something else instead of this white screen. So I'm going to select presentations, and I can upload a presentation right from within here. I can select browse for files, and I can load in a PDF file, PowerPoint. I would suggest using PDF just because they're always going to work a lot nicer. PowerPoints, if you save them as a PDF, you can load them in, and it'll be better. And then you just select upload, and it'll load in the documents very quickly. One of the new features that you've got here is you can actually zoom in and out. So if you keep zooming in, you can kind of move certain things around on your document. You can zoom back out, or you can make it a full screen. You can make it the page width, right, or fit to the screen. And then when you're presenting, it's a lot easier for students to see. Okay. You also have these other tools here. So you've got a hand tool, which is just for panning, like grabbing it in. If I want to zoom in, grab it, move it around. I can also draw or add text. So if I want to add text here, I can do that. If I want to add in some drawings, I can do that. Right, change the shape or change the thickness, change the color, change, I can undo them. And then if I want to clear all the annotations, I just click that and they're all gone. Okay, I can also turn on a multi-user whiteboard, which essentially means that students are able to show their cursor up on the screen as well. So if I enable that, then you would see every single user who's in here, you'd see where their mouse is or where their cursor is on the screen. Okay, so you can be creative in that way. And they also have the drawing tools available if they want to use shapes or the drawing or the pen. Okay, so you can kind of scroll between the different pages of your document, and then you can kind of go through however you see fit. But yeah, essentially, whenever you're ready to be done this, you can go up to the top right-hand corner and select end meeting. If you click leave, then that meeting is still going to stay active and people will be able to stay in it. But if you click end meeting, it's going to boot everyone out, which is really what we want. We don't want students being unsupervised in this meeting space. So we can then select end meeting and everyone else is gone out of there. We can close that meeting now. And then what we'll see is that this meeting that was just there, it is going to end up moving over to this recorded meetings once it's been recorded fully. It's got to transcode a little bit and save all of that into a nice package. So when you do have a recorded meeting, what you can do is click on these three dots here and go copy public URL and then paste that somewhere. Right? If you go into there, you'll see this is a preview of what the virtual classroom session recording would look like. You can press play and it will show you the presentation here, the webcams here, the chat here, and then you can also scroll along and see what's going on at the bottom. Okay. Now, another way of adding this would be if you are going to, on your homepage, share in either announcements or activity feed. The first way you could do it, I'll show through activity feed, is if you select that plus icon and then select message. You give a message, watch the recorded session. I'm going to select attach and then an existing activity. Now, then I'll scroll all the way to the bottom and I'll select virtual classroom. When I select virtual classroom, you'll see I have two meetings there, sample meeting 1 and then sample meeting 2. Now that's the one we just recorded, but I'm going to select sample meeting because this one already has the recording attached to it. Now I'll post it and you'll see that it shows up right here, or it will show up in a few seconds. Okay, so when a student comes in here, what they'll be able to do is if they select sample meeting, it'll bring them right to that preview. So now you don't have to worry about copying that public URL. It brings them right there. Now, if it hasn't happened yet, as in the recording hasn't been transcoded yet, you'll end up seeing something different. It'll say recording not available. And that's what I'll demo inside the announcements. So if I create an announcement, I can do the same thing. So this is, again, just if you're looking at using announcements versus activity feed, you can select this icon, which is for quick links, and that's going to allow you to access something that exists in the course already. So I'll scroll down, I'll select virtual classroom, and then I'm going to select the one that we just did, sample meeting 2. Now notice I can also schedule a meeting right from within there. So if I didn't schedule it from virtual classroom, I can schedule it right from that link. But this just creates us a link right here. And when I publish that and go back to my homepage, when a student comes in, you could put a little bit more to this message, right? So something like, hello, here's the meeting that we had today, something like that. But when you select that sample meeting 2, it's going to bring you to either the meeting link or the meeting recording. Now, this one's not going to bring me anywhere because it's still making the recording, but the meeting is done. So this isn't wrong. It's just in a few minutes, once that meeting has been saved, then it's going to bring me to that the meeting preview. Okay, but that's essentially how you would use virtual classroom. So it's an exciting tool to use. It's very easy to use, user-friendly, and my favorite thing is that it has built-in privacy and security features.